11:01.
We are in. We are live. What's going on, everybody? Please share this into your networks. Your networks are better than our networks. That's what we doing.
How come I can't hear nothing?
You should be able to hear something. I can hear you.
I can hear you, but I can't hear any music or anything.
What? You can't hear me?
I can hear you, but not any music or anything else.
Is that better?
There's no music. There's no intro. There's only your voice and a picture of Jared Goff.
I can hear the music. I can hear the music. Can you hear the music out there?
I cannot.
All right. Well, now I got everybody yelling at me for rolling it, and I'm trying to promote this. Jesus.
People are yelling at you, Russ?
You are.
Oh.
And I'm trying to get this thing promoted. I'm sorry. I'm trying to promote the damn show. I'm sharing it into my networks. I'm hoping that you're doing the same. Please go to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Chad can hear the music just fine.
Okay, then. All right. Chad probably hears a lot of things in his head.
Well, hopefully he's hearing my music. Good. All right. Feeling a little better now. NFC North. This is Talk with Russell Wayne. Main event Mike in the house.
You like that?
He's fast.
You like that? You like that? You like that?
You know, the more and more I think about it, Mike, I think if they would have just given him the space right there, that he would have taken that to the house. I think there was no doubt in my mind that that Penei Sewell would have taken it to the house. Welcome one, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen, to NFC North Talk with your host, me, Russell Wayne, and this is my boy Main Event Mike right there. We represent the Detroit Lions, but we are going to be talking about all four NFC North team. So we welcome Detroit Lions villain squad, Bill the Packer fan, Mike the Bear fan, Detroit Lions news. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel because it's free, and we put content out there every single day. So we appreciate everybody that is listening to Talking Heads right here on August 15th. Man, we got a couple of weeks, but we got some preseason games. It's a little bit more exciting than it was a couple of weeks ago, right, Mike? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm super stoked. 3 weeks away from the first kickoff of the first game. Just happens to be the Detroit Lions against the defending Super Bowl champions. I can't wait.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Yeah, and I'm feeling pretty darn good about that. I don't know if you want to start with something, but I wanted to start with a little bit of Teddy Bridgewater today, getting his first talk. I mean, what a happy dude. That's all I'm going to say about Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, that entire interview, this guy, he's just cheesing from ear to ear. And I'm not used to this type of thing here in Detroit where people are so happy to be here. Expand a little bit on that for me, Mike.
Yeah. I mean, as Detroit fans, we're kind of tired of these pressers where they introduce a player who you can tell is not happy to be here. Teddy definitely seems happy to be here. He got paid $6 million by the Dolphins last year. He comes in, signs a $2.5 million guaranteed contract for 1 year, and knows that he's on a team that's a contender and it's loaded, right? He's worn number 5 his entire career. He's going to wear number 50 because, of course, David Montgomery has that number now, number 5. So he's happy because he's coming to a team with a chance to compete, and his contract is incentive laden. He could make as much as $5 million. So a lot of reason to smile if you're coming to Detroit these days. Good coaches. He said it in his presser. Good coaches, good players, good culture. Wow. When was the last time we heard that?
Right. Yeah. And I agree 100%. I'll give
you like that.
And what I wanted to expand on that a little bit is like what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago when we were thinking that Teddy Bridgewater might come here, was that he would be such this great mentor for Hendon Hooker. And in his presser, he really didn't really know that much about Hendon Hooker, but he said that he wanted to be a really, really big help to the young wide receivers, which I thought was really cool because he's like, I have to learn this offense, and I'm going to be spending time after practices is over to try to run through my reads. I'm going to be grabbing wide receivers being like, hey, you come over here. We're going to run some routes. I'm going to make these, bottom part of the depth chart guys better. And he wants to mentor Jameson Williams, which I thought was pretty cool. And he said that Jameson Williams wouldn't like it.
Well, last year he was throwing to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Those are speed guys, right? I think a couple of those throws we saw Nate Sudfeld do in the last preseason game was a direct result of JMO's speed and this guy not being able to track the timing of it, and so many of the balls were behind him. So, it could be huge for Jameson Williams and these other young receivers having a guy like Teddy Bridgewater. And, yeah, I know Teddy said he didn't even know who Hendon Hooker was because he doesn't pay attention to college football. But it doesn't matter. Just by osmosis, he's going to rub off on it. And Hendon Hooker is a sponge. It's not what Teddy can teach Hendon Hooker, but what Hendon Hooker can learn from Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Two Gloves, the backup in Detroit. It's great. It was a glaring hole for this team. I think it can't be undersold.
Yeah, and they also interviewed Jameson Williams, and there's just something about his swagger that isn't. We were talking about a little bit earlier, because I don't want to make it sound like he comes off cocky, but he's just got this certain demeanor about him where I don't think that he's really worried about much of the outside noise, and he's got his own plan. But he almost seemed like he was more nervous to talk to the media than he is to go out and actually play the game. And Amon-Ra was able to come in and ask him a question, kind of eased his tension a little bit. You could see his whole tenseness, deflate a little bit, where he got a little bit more comfortable with the media after Amon-Ra was out there. Tell me what you think about Amon-Ra stepping in and being cool like that.
What a great teammate. Statistics show that stage fright is the number one, fear among people. More people would rather be in the coffin than up there giving the eulogy, right? Public speaking is a huge phobia for a lot of people. And a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is not that way, obviously, you can tell by his podcasts and his interviews, helping the young guy break the ice a little bit, calm his nerves a bit by coming in, adding a little levity to the situation. I thought just indicative of what a great teammate Amon-Ra St. Brown is. And I thought it was great. If you haven't seen that interview of Jameson Williams, I encourage anyone to do it. One other thing I wanted to say, though, you said it's not cocky, right? In the immortal words of Kid Rock, it ain't bragging if you can back it up, right? So if he never shows out in this league, if one thing after another, God forbid, an injury or anything like that doesn't happen, then that's exactly what it is, Russ. It's cocky. And if you got to produce to be able to, have that swagger, you need to have produced something. And he has yet to do that.
But that's the thing, is I don't want you to misunderstand what I mean by swagger. It wasn't cocky swagger. It didn't come off like he was saying, hey, I'm going to be the greatest of all time or anything like that. He just said, I was born for this. I was born to do this. It didn't come off like he was being cocky when he had said that.
But it's still talk until you show it on the field.
For sure. And I mean, they had said that, he thought that he had the most snaps that he's had. Most guys get 70 snaps in a game. He got, he had his most snaps that he's ever had in a game right there. But Rock says Lions are going to rule the NFC North, and this is for the next decade. So thank you for the comment.
That way, Rock. It does look that way that Brad Holmes has put this team together just for that purpose. Longevity.
Robert says LMAO Teddy B. Yeah. Getting into there really isn't that much Green Bay Packer news or anything like that. Sean Clifford, maybe he'll beat out Jordan Love for the starting quarterback position, because you got the next Brett Favre right there. Sean Clifford. Woody don't want to hear that. All right. Calvin says, what do you think about Ben Johnson and the team's offense if it burns the NFL? The offense burns the NFL.
The Goffense.
The Goffense.
Offensive coordinator Ben Johnson's built an offense around his quarterback, Jared Goff, who's good at the play action. He's good at protecting the ball. And when you've got a crafty mind in those two foundational parts of the game at the quarterback position, maybe his arm isn't as strong as 10 or 12 other guys in the league, right? But within the offense that Ben Johnson has built and runs, I think it's a good call out, Calvin. They could burn the NFL. We've got weapons all over the place, young, fast, big weapons.
Yeah, speaking of weapons, John Dorn's in here and says, when will the Lions get a real running back?
Yeah, maybe that Emmanuel Wilson could get traded over here.
Yeah. We should give him some capital for Wilson, man. That dude's a burner. Let's see. Peterson says, wasn't familiar with Teddy, was a little concerned about him fitting the culture. After seeing him on the podium, love the guy, awesome attitude. I couldn't believe how much he was smiling. Like, he couldn't stop the cheese the entire time. Every question, it was like, he just came downstairs for Christmas morning and he got all of his favorite gifts. Like,
what a great comment, Raymond. That gets a Kirk Cousins, doesn't it? That's a good comment.
You like that?
Yeah,
You
for
want-
sure. Awesome attitude, and right, and that's something that Dan Campbell already knew, right? After those years in New Orleans with Teddy, he already knew what kind of guy he was. When asked about it, Dan Campbell said, "I've seen him be a great teammate. I've seen him be a great leader." So he already knew that Teddy Bridgewater was going to fit the culture, and I love that this team puts culture first. What a great comment. Thank you, Raymond.
Yeah, so Bear Down Mike chimes in here and says, I don't know about ruling the decade. Maybe for one season, Bears are getting better and the monsters of the Midway will be back. That's
yeah,
good.
Bear Down Mike. The law of averages says the Bears will be back. Hopefully it won't be, for your sake, I hope it's not 60 years like it was for the Lions.
Playoffs.
But yeah, Bears are definitely getting better. I'm not going to undersell that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when we got on, it was a great episode yesterday of an NFC North open mic yesterday. You did a great job hosting that yesterday. And one of the popular talks was to kind of down Justin Fields for throwing balls behind the line of scrimmage that are taken to the house for touchdowns. Why don't you give the viewers a taste of your thoughts on that thought?
Yeah. Have you ever seen a quarterback with a 158 passer rating get so much flack? It's crazy. Yeah, I don't like the Bears. I'm a Lions fan, but I'm not going to deny that 3 for 3 for 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. It doesn't matter how that happened. It's just that it happened. And that's what the stats will forever say about that meaningless preseason game. What the stats will also show is that Malik Willis drove the second team Titans down on the first drive and scored a touchdown. So those are reasons for concern if I'm the Bears. Bears definitely getting better. And Bear Down Mike just throwing a little caution there, saying, yeah, maybe this season. Because I think Bear Down Mike and the Packers and the Vikings fans know what we know, that, and what Las Vegas knows, that the Detroit Lions are contenders this year.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at it from a bird's eye view long term, I mean, we talked about this last year, like the Bears and the Lions, I think, are going to be going head up for the next 10 years over this, especially keep building like that. And I'm not going to knock the guy. When you got Khalil Herbert on one side and then you got DJ Moore being able to control that other side, all this talk of, oh yeah, we'll just put somebody over there to block the screen. What's he going to do? He's going to run. He rushed for 1,000 yards last year. That's what he's going to do if you start defending that. So if he gets these playmakers, and we've said this, if he finds a wide receiver one that he can trust, that he would throw the ball into when he's under duress, then it's going to be dangerous. And I think that DJ Moore is that guy. And Khalil Herbert had a pretty nice run himself, being able to weave through that downfield blocking. So I like that call.
You like that?
I see Justin Fields not rushing for 1,000 yards this year, throwing more touchdowns, also throwing more interceptions.
And then John, John Dorn, I always got to throw every other one in here because John gives good shade to us right here. So when the Lions going to draft bust Jameson Williams? We're gonna let him go. Maybe we'll trade him straight up for Wilson so we can have a running back that's good, John. We'll just trade Jameson Williams straight up for Wilson.
Right. Well, we're going into year number 2, John. So we still got at least 2 more years this year and 1 more at least to look at it and cross that bridge. So until he does something, you've got that.
Yeah, and Jason comes to your defense right here. The problem is that some of the players is that they would rather be brash and than humble pie. Real character matters. So, yeah, I mean, the question comes in with Jameson Williams. I mean, that honestly, you have to. I know that I've gotten a lot of shade for putting out the question to people. I threw out a picture out on the Villain Squad, our fan page or whatever, and I asked, are you concerned about Jameson Williams? And I got a lot of pushback on it with people being like, just leave him alone. He's a rookie and all that. But it's like, I'll leave him alone. I will leave him alone. But I would love to see him have a stat line in Jacksonville where he scores a touchdown or two with some yards and no drops. That's all. I'm not gonna rip the guy to shreds, but stop dropping the ball.
Just for John Dorn to keep in his pocket, that Sports Illustrated rated the biggest draft busts of all time, and the Green Bay Packers had the #1 biggest draft bust of all time in Tony Mandrich. So draft bust. You say he's a bust, John. I'll take your word because you're the expert.
Yeah. Sebastian says, that's why Minnie loves Teddy. Oh, wow. We get to switch right here. What a great switch into the Dalvin Cook talk right here. We might as well bring that up. That's the elephant that's in the room because we got to ask Sebastian. Cook gets an $8.6 million deal with the Jets that actually lowers their cap number for this year. And let me ask you that, Sebastian. Would you have paid $8.6 million if Dalvin Cook would have wanted to stay in Minneapolis? That's a good question. What about you, Mike?
I'd also be interested to know, Sebastian, what is it about Teddy Bridgewater that Minnesota fans love? You say that's why. Is it because of his demeanor or what a great attitude he has? Or what can we expect to see from Teddy Bridgewater if he gets on the field this year? I'd like some Minnesota fans to say, he's a great teammate, or he refused an autograph for me at Chick-fil-A, whatever. I'd like to hear that. Dalvin Cook, though, to the Jets, and I want to say this is scary, especially when you consider that Breece Hall, their young running back, came off the PUP list this morning. So he's going to be ready for week 1. Who are you going to start? Are you going to start Breece Hall or Dalvin Cook? I got to imagine they're going to start Breece Hall. So you've got Dalvin Cook coming off the bench with fresh legs and a surgically repaired shoulder that doesn't need 20 touches a game, right? So this is going to make them deeper at the running back position, more offensive weapons. The only thing that's suspect here for me for the Jets is their pass blocking. You've got an aging Aaron Rodgers who's obviously lost a step. But other than that, this team is looking like a contender, and Russell Wayne picked them right after the draft to be in the Super Bowl. So this is going to be interesting to see playing out. Dalvin Cook to the Jets. This is big news.
Yeah, I love that pickup for him. And we talked about this too. He's not going to really be able to go to another place and be the bell cow back like he was in Minnesota. That he was going to have to go and he was going to have to share the workload with somebody, and he was going to have to be satisfied with that, and he wasn't going to get $12 million a year. So something had to give right there, and he chose to go to a contender, and I would think that they're a contender. They do need some work on that offensive line, but I think that Aaron Rodgers helps out with that a lot. Zach Wilson didn't exactly make the best decisions when he was under center, and this is definitely going to be the best quarterback play that they've had at the Jets in a long time, even at 60% of what Rodgers usually is.
I think a question mark for me also with the Jets is their wide receivers. Yeah, Garrett Wilson's a good wide receiver, but after that, who do they have? Corey Davis, Mecole Hardman, Alan Lazard. Do any of these guys scare you? I don't think so. If you don't have Patrick Mahomes under center, you better have some good wide receivers to make it out of the AFC, because the AFC is brutal, especially this year. Not just their conference, but even their division with Buffalo and an upcoming Miami team. It's going to be very hard for the Jets. They're going to have a very tough road to hoe, and their schedule coming out of the gate is brutal. But Dalvin Cook, he's the kind of player that can swing that pendulum in the other direction and make a difference for the Jets.
Yeah, I like, and good morning to you, Eric Thomas. I wanted to say good morning. I mean, some of the everydayers on there, I love seeing you on here. Woody, Bear Down Mike, John Dorn. You guys are everydayers. Chad, everydayers. We put a shout out to all of these everydayers that are in here. And please take the time and go and like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're actually trying to drive people to the YouTube channel right now because we'd like to have everybody all in one spot, and YouTube seems to be the best platform for that. So, but yes, good morning to everybody on there. Oh, I thought Mike was giving me the peace out, dude. Stop, shameless self-promotion. Robert says JMO equals Josh Gordon. Ooh, that is a very interesting take right there. I you know what?
You like
I
that.
gotta give that one 4 because that one I didn't like it as much until I really thought about it.
With the change to Robert's point, with the change in the restrictions on marijuana in the NFL, Josh Gordon may have had a great career had he been in this era of football rather than the one that he came up in. Because all of Josh Gordon's transgressions were marijuana related, which now the league basically looks the other way.
Well, let me ask you this. Would you take best wide receiver in the league 1 year and then he gets done for a marijuana suspension type of production? Would you take that from JMO this year if you could sacrifice it?
Absolutely.
I would rather have a good receiver for a long. I understand what he's saying. He's meaning it as a dig, but Josh Gordon, when he played that year, he came in. He was the best wide receiver in football.
And then he took the year off, came back, and was great again, and got suspended again.
Right. So I love that call though, Robert. That's a good one. I like that. Daniel says, I'm a Lions fan, but I watched Fields in that documentary back when he was in high school, the QB1, and he has a mad heart. With the right support, he can become a good quarterback at this level. I love it.
Yeah, when you say the right support, I think you mean teach him to throw. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, it's been tough for him. He hasn't shown that he can make NFL throws. He runs too soon. He's got a long way to go when it comes to reading defenses, but he's in year 3 and everybody seems to be behind him. They obviously had a chance this year to draft anybody that they wanted, and they thought Justin Fields was a better option. So I'm not sure they have a successful podcast like we do, but
yeah. I can't wait till we have a successful podcast. Eric Thomas says, yeah, I seen Bear Down Mikey failed to mention the great walking down the field through so shady, didn't do much research into it. He was talking about, he was talking about, I don't know. I don't know what we're talking about here. So let's go into
Malik Willis. You're talking about Malik Willis. Nobody mentioned that.
Mike, he failed to mention the great walking down. Okay. I mean, he did. He went down the field on that defense, but I mean, I don't know.
Voice to text picked up the great Malik as the great.
The great Malik. Zach says that I'm really excited for Jack Campbell. We can stop on this one for a minute. I'd love to talk a little bit about Jack Campbell. That just sounds like the hero from a badass 80s movie. It's like, yeah, you know what Jack Campbell says in a time like this? Like Big Trouble Little China? Well, no, that's Jack Burton.
I like it.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I know you were ready for a gold jacket on draft day, but he did have the highest PFF grade of any rookie defender out there. After the first preseason game, he had 4 tackles. He wasn't out there very long. He did look like a beast running downhill, reading the quarterback and reacting. So I'm excited about it too.
You know, Zach, I'm glad, and thank you for this comment.
You like that?
And I'm really, and I know it's just, we're excited about Jack Campbell. I watched this video where they were breaking down his snaps, and they were talking about how disciplined he was, that he didn't go for the tackle where he would stay where he was supposed to be. He let other people do their jobs, and he executed his job to the full tilt, even on the ones that he wasn't in on the play, he executed what he was supposed to do. If he was supposed to occupy a linebacker so Kaminsky could get around the side and get the tackle, that's what he had done. And it's the little things that are like that. He's a very smart, intuitive player, and I think that he's going to be great. Like I said, I don't want to throw the gold jacket on him quite yet, but I mean, he's got the work ethic and the mindset of somebody that is willing to work for the next 10 years at a rate where he is going to be one of the greatest.
If this guy becomes a Lions legend, right? If he becomes a all-pro linebacker in this league, wouldn't every other team be kicking themselves? He won the Butkus Award. He won the academic Heisman. So when you say he's really smart, yeah, he's really smart.
Right.
Right? He's 6'5". He's got super long arms. He's incredibly athletic. Duh. And there are people actually throwing shade at the Lions for drafting him at number 18. Are you kidding me? Brad Holmes said, look, he was in the top 9 of the players that we had identified. And so was Jahmyr Gibbs. And to be able to get 2 of the guys in the top 9 on your board in the first 18 picks, that's mastery. That is mastery of the GM position.
I love it. I love it. I'm very, very excited about Jack Campbell. Thank you for the comment. And we got a brand new person. Is Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000? He says he's brand new here. Welcome to the program. I'm glad that you're part of the program. We talk football here all the time. I would say at least 5 days a week. We have 365 day a year content on our pages and whatnot. We love football. But
I'm a Looney fan as well.
So we'll suffer in succotash.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
My favorite is the dog. If you know the dog in Porky Pig, what kind of dog are you? He says I'm half setter, half pincher, half boxer.
Yeah, how are you supposed to catch a chicken hawk without being a chicken?
We're probably as we speak.
I actually gained a couple people on my impression right there. Jason says 3 for 3. Great. How about 9 for 10? That stuff isn't going to fly at the rate in a real-time game.
I don't know. They throw screen passes in every NFL game.
Yeah, I think where, Jason, where I want to disagree with you right here is all he did was throw the ball short, right? But we forgot last year he could run the ball really, really well, and he didn't have outlets to throw the ball anywhere. He did. I mean, it was a dumpster fire. If he's got anybody that he can trust, it don't matter. DJ Moore can take a ball behind the line of scrimmage to the house. He's done it his entire career. It's never not stopped. He's had awful quarterbacks his whole career.
And to Jason's point, Justin Fields didn't even put that throw on the money. It was behind him. DJ Moore had to reach back to get the ball and still took it to the house because he's used to crappy quarterback play.
So, I mean, I've said it 100 times on here. Justin Fields does not need to be a good quarterback. He just has to be able to fool people into thinking that he can throw some of the passes. He could be a below average quarterback and run like he did last year, and then he would be extremely effective. You know, he may not be able to beat the really, really good teams because the really, really good teams will man up on that. And then you're going to see a lot of tackles like Brian Branch had on Cole Beasley in those type of situations when it's defended well. But screen passes do work.
I gotta be honest, Russ, when it comes to Jordan Love, I hadn't seen much of him because the limited playing time that he has, played, I didn't get a chance to see it. Maybe I saw a highlight of a throw here or there. Really never saw him play until the other day when he came back in that second drive and scored a touchdown. He looked pretty good. Jordan Love, I'm not going to take anything away from him. However, he didn't look as big as I thought he was. He looked kind of slightly built, right? Wearing really small shoulder pads. He just didn't look big enough. Like Justin Fields looks big enough back there. Jordan Love, I just don't know if he's going to be able to hold up through an NFL season. I mean, what do you think of that, Robert Bertana?
Well, you're taking Robert says, who cares? Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I say about Jordan Love. Who cares about Jordan Love? No, I mean, Outside of the really, really bad sale that he had on that third down play, I mean, I thought that he was solid. I mean, but it's another one of those things where you're playing your first string offense. You know, not every team plays their first string offense, but you played your first string offense against their second string, and you got stopped once, and then you scored a touchdown on one. So it's good that they threw him back out there and that he was able to complete the drive. So you can feel good about that. I mean, you were saying who cares about something else, Robert. I understand that. What's up, David? Daniel?
I know,
Daniel.
but the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
There's no way that he could have typed that and you got it on the screen in that much time. So I knew that wasn't his response, but still, that was great timing.
Brandon Looney Tunes fan 2000 says, do you say bad words? Only if they slip, not on the morning show as much. If you want bad words, you're going to have to come to the NFC North open mic on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Quezzy is a bad word.
Yeah, Quezzy's a bad word. Bad baby. Jets need offensive line. Let me see if I got any questions in here. Did you have something that you wanted to bring up? You said that you might have had a topic, or did you already hit it up?
Well, John Dorn says it right here. John says the Jets need an offensive line, or they won't even make the playoffs. That's exactly what we're saying.
Playoffs.
Aaron Rodgers last year, in fact, in Aaron Rodgers' entire career, he never had an offensive line that was less than, I think, 8th in the league of pass blocking. It's pass block win rate is the ratio. The Packers are always in the top 10 in that category, and that's why they never draft wide receivers in the first round. The New York Jets last year ranked 21st in pass block win rate. So with an aging quarterback, that is something that would concern me. What's the best way to beat that? A good run game. So having Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall as a 1-2 punch, that's going to bode very well for them. But to John's point, I think it's very valid. It's going to be tough to even get out of that division if you can't pass block.
Real-time game, folks. We want to. We all want to see real-time games, Jason. We want it just as much as you do, but all we have is all we
end this show right now, because what's the point?
No, I mean, they and Bear Down Mike says they throw screen passes all the time, and he also says that it works for Kansas City all of the time. And Robert says that was a horrible Sylvester. Okay. What am I gonna do? Oh gosh.
Labrador Retriever. You ain't no Labrador Retriever. Oh yeah, I'll go get me a Labrador and I'll retrieve him for you.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Robert. I will work on all my impressions. Let's see. I just subbed to you. Oh yes, thank you for putting a sub to us. And you did ask earlier. If I allow people onto this show, it's like soon as Mike pieces out, I'm going to open up the panel up for people, because you know it's hard when you get on here with the King of Sting, you know. You got to wait till Monday nights to get on here with the King of Sting, but
that's right. It's
NFC
cool. North open mic every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting live into Facebook. Also, don't forget, this coming Thursday, the 17th, is the return of the Main Event podcast show, broadcasting live into Facebook and on YouTube. It's at Main Event 365 on YouTube. Join the groups, Detroit Lions Villain Squad, Detroit Lions Main Event, NFC North The Huddle. Join the groups, join the conversation. I got to jump off. God bless you, Russ. Thanks for having me on your show.
Thank you so much, Mike. That's Main Event Mike. He's our fearless host. He's the one that does that thing. He spends some time with me here in the morning. And, oh, wow, I still got my background from yesterday. But, yes, Mike is correct. This is the time where I do open it up to everybody that's out there. If you guys want to pop on with me, we can have a little bit of a conversation right here. Please bring a topic that you want to talk about, especially if you're from one of the other fan bases, Good morning, Tina. I'm throwing that link out there. And there's a panel link that I just threw into whatever platform that you're watching from. You should have gotten an invite link. Just go through the information of you, then you'll go backstage, and then I can bring you on to the show. Adriana West says that Love still has work to do in terms of timing his throw and ball placement. He can be accurate, but it's a matter of better judgment and decision making right there. And we got Brandon Looney Tunes right there. Brandon the Looney Tunes 2000.
Say hello to my little friend.
Welcome to the program. How are you doing?
Just fine. I'm new here.
You're new here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, how can we help? What do you want to say to the to the people?
My channel has over 1,800 subs.
What is your channel?
Brandon Looney Tunes Fan 2000.
Okay, so you can see that this is Brandon Looney Tunes 2000 fan. What does your page do?
I upload all the mainly Looney Tunes content.
Okay. Well, I kind of maybe I kind of figured it out. So, what do you think the Lions are going to do this year? What is your favorite NFC North team?
What's NFC North team?
What's an NFC North team? No, we're talking. This is a football program.
Oh, my dad watches football.
Your dad watches football.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna. All right then. Well, I'm gonna bring in Chad right here. I think Chad, you want to talk some football?
Say hello to my little friend.
Welcome to the program, Chad.
Hey, thanks, Russ. You know, dude, I'm pretty sure Brandon's a kid.
22.
If John Dorn pops in, don't be cussing John. What's up with? Why are we signing some XFL superstar center? You know what's up with that? I mean,
we're a 90-man roster stuff right now, so I mean, they're bringing all kinds of people in for competition and whatnot. So I mean, we're trying to develop practice squad guys. I wouldn't get too over, high or low on anything like that. So I mean, what do you think? What do you know about our new XFL center?
I have no clue about him. I just found out about it this morning. I didn't even know what his name was until somebody posted it. One of the Lions fans posted his name, so I have to look him up. What do you think the odds of Mims? Think he's going to be practice squad, or you think he's got a chance to be a fourth wide receiver?
Right now he's getting outplayed by. I mean, well, obviously because he's been injured for the most part, but Dylan Drummond and then you got Sam Coda, from Oregon. They got these guys that are hungry that are.
You can check out my channel.
And who they got?
You can check out my channel.
You can check out. Yes. And thank you for popping onto the show, Brandon. We like to have you on the show. And you can check him out at Brandon Looney Tunes 2000, and you can go subscribe and you can watch Looney Tunes type of content right there. But for right now, we are going to keep it football at this time right now. So what was your question again? You were asking about the center. Yeah. TJ Hawkinson, it was found that he had like an ear infection. That was why he was missing time. So if there is a Vikings fan out there, what do you think about TJ Hawkinson missing some practices? I think he plays football, soccer. Let's get into some of these comments here. Definitely love me some Looney Tunes, Daniel. Yes, that's right. The Kapler says, all right, I'm going to move on to a different comment right there. Competition, Chad, competition. Detroit Fan Man said he's a new C. He's a new center. And they placed on the injured reserve. So I think that we had some bottom of the roster injuries. So you got to bring in the guys. You got to fill out that 90 person roster while you're allowed to have 90 people. Because in a couple of weeks, they're going to have to cut it all down to 53 men. And there's some fierce competitions. There's some fierce competition. What is the best competition from your team? I mean, I know what it is for the Lions, but, you know, Packer fan, Bear fan, Viking fan, what's your big competition? Who's going to be the on the roster fringe that needs to play well this weekend, that needs to show out, that needs to work his way on? Oh, man. Oh, I hit the bell. Bear Down Mike says, sorry, Packer fans, got Jordan Love and Trey Lance mixed up. Trey had a hot potato touchdown passes. Yeah, Trey Lance definitely did not look good. Sebastian says that they said that there's been an illness all week, but we're unsure as if that or if it's a contract injury. It makes sense why he missed that much time for them.
You like that? You like that?
I'm glad that you can have a good attitude about that, Sebastian. I like that. The contract injury. Oh man, that was a vicious contract injury, wasn't it, Chad?
Yeah, there's a lot of illness running around the Detroit Lions right now too. There's like a half a dozen people that have got the flu.
Yeah, that's been going around. My son just went through a spat of COVID. Didn't take very long, but I guess the weaker strand of COVID now that it's kind of ran through everybody's systems. Let's talk about the strength of schedule for the NFC North. Who's got the easiest and who's got the toughest?
Vikings have the toughest. I know that for sure.
Yeah, Vikings are pretty brutal. Well, let's take a look at this. Let's the Bears. Let me see if we can get the I'll look Bears schedule. We'll go Bears schedule down. And you know, this is all you have to look at this with a grain of salt too, guys. Like these are the strength of schedules based off of a lot of times what they did last year.
Yep.
So you don't want to get caught up in, you know, that this is what they were. So the Bears are starting out with the Packers, and then they go to the Buccaneers, and then the Chiefs. So that's pretty tough right there, you know, and with 3 games right there, I think that they could be 1-2, 2-1. But I think they believe they're going to beat the Packers, but I don't know about that. Then they go Broncos. That's definitely winnable. The Commanders, they're up that they could win that game. Division game, Vikings, Raiders. Chargers, that'll be tough. Saints, Panthers, that's probably going to be a tougher game than people think. And then the Lions, Vikings again, Lions again, Browns, Cardinals,
Winnable.
Vikings, and then Bears again. Or then Packers again. So if I'm looking at the Bears schedule, I think that's a pretty advantageous schedule. I mean, you're looking through that. I think that's
no, I can't go 500 anymore, can you?
And I think that the Lions schedule is, I mean, once you get, you know, out of the first 4 games, I mean, I think that they have a nice stretch of winnable games. So I think that the Lions and the Bears have pretty pretty easier schedules, at least when it looks on papers. Let's look at the Vikings schedule here, because you said this one's the hardest one.
Yeah, well, that's what they get for winning 13 games.
Right. So they open up with the Eagles, right? No, they open up with the Buccaneers and then the Eagles. So that's a nice opener. I don't know if I believe in the Bucs, but definitely the Eagles, Chargers, a surging Panthers, Chiefs. That is brutal. Wow, they could start out 1-4 with that. I mean, we'll have to see. Maybe 2-3, maybe 2-3 on that. But I mean, I can't see them beating the Chargers or the Chiefs.
No, I don't see them beating Philly.
Then they got Bears, and then they got 49ers. Wow, Packers, Vikings. I think Vikings are going to be tougher this year. Saints. I get that. Broncos, Bears again, Raiders, Bengals, Lions, Packers, Lions. Yeah, that is a brutal end of the schedule for them when it comes to the end of that. And then the Packers. What do we got for the Packers? Packers schedule. They look like, yeah, they got Bears, Falcons, Saints, they got Lions, Raiders, Broncos, Vikings, Rams, Steelers, Chargers, Lions, Chiefs, Giants, Bucks, Panthers, and then the Vikings. And then the Bears. I mean, if I'm looking at it, I think the Packers actually had the easiest schedule. If I'm looking at like those winnable games, when I was bringing it up, oh my God, I wasn't sharing the screen. I was reading it out loud. I was not
sharing it. You weren't sharing it.
No. But I don't know if I can, but I was looking through here, but I really apologize for that. Maybe they won't let me share it. That's probably why. But what do you guys think? Who do you think's got the easiest schedule? Packers' schedule is the easiest. That's what Robert says. Jeremy says that the Bears had the easiest because they were last in the division. Well, that makes sense.
The teams change from last year, from year to year. So
yeah. At first glance, I was looking at that. I was thinking that the Packers had a nice stretch in there, especially at the beginning of the season. Like that works out good for a young quarterback too. Yeah, we don't know who is what just yet either. Yeah, I mean, this is way too early, but I'm just so happy because we had that lull of the off season where there was literally nothing to talk about for like 3 weeks. Now that was, at least we have some preseason meaningless games that we can throw in here and talk about, right? Bear Down Mike says with the first 5 games, the Bears can be 4-1. Yeah, they can be 5-0 too. I'm just looking at those. Look at the Bears.
I don't see him beating Green Bay and Green Bay. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I look at the Chicago Bears, they're opening up with I mean, I don't know if you're going to beat Green Bay right there in that first week, because that's a pretty good defense. I mean, we'll see what they can do. We'll see what they can do. But let's see. Let me remove that from this. Maybe I can do the screen. I'm doing some screen sharing stuff right now. I'm trying to get this thing up here so you guys can see it. Oh gosh. So let's get into some of these comments. According to strength of schedule, let's see. Detroit has the easiest division schedule, as they are the only team in NFC North that doesn't have to play these Lions.
You like that?
And Brandon says, how come I kicked you off the panel? I mean, I didn't really kick you off the panel, but we're talking about football on here. Like I like the Looney Tunes as much as everybody else, but I have to serve the Lions fans and the Packers fans and the Vikings fans and the Bears fans that are in here that probably don't want to talk about Looney Tunes. But right there, but you're more than welcome to come on the show every single day and promote your Looney Tunes, though. Okay,
Maybe
Brandon?
his dad wants to come on.
And maybe your dad would want to come on and talk some football. Daniel says that Jordan Love, the new daddy of the Bears. Well, that remains to be seen. This is going to be great. Like here we got a little bit of a, button heads here in the comments right there. We got a couple Viking fans, we got a couple Bear fans and some Packer fans in there. Packers versus the Bears week 1. That's I want to know who you think's going to win. NFC North open mic right here. Who's going to win in that first week? I got the Packers week 1 over the Bears. I think the Packers have a more defined defense and they can lean on their running game. They're pretty much the same team they were last year minus Aaron Rodgers. So, and take it easy on my friend Brandon in here. That's okay. I think that we're dealing with a really, really good friend in here. So be easy when you're going at people in here. And I think that that's going to be me cutting out for the rest of this show. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. So you have been listening to NFC North Talk with Russell Wayne. We're broadcasting live into the Detroit Lions Villain Squad. Bill the Packer fan. Mike the Bear fan, Detroit Lions News. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thank you everybody for being on. Thank you, Chad, for being on. And this is an every morning thing, 11 a.m. Eastern time. We talk football, NFC North. From Russell Wayne. God bless you guys. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
It's not fair. They were so happy. It's not gonna be okay.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabinda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.